Saucy Santana?
Nope.
No way, Whitney. Don't tell me that you never heard
Santana I know is the guitarist.
Oh my God. I'm so mad right now.
What's up, you guys?
Oh no. Oh, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Triple F Queen Bola, and I am baffled at Whitney's lack of staying pop culture relevant outside of TV shows.
Well, you know, I just be listening to my my YouTube music playlist and let YouTube suggest to me things that are like the things I already like.
Y'all pray for your girl. Because I was like, Whitney, how you don't know everybody knows Let Me See You Walk. Saucy Santana. Saucy Santana has that other song too that's really popular. And I was like,
I have never heard of him or her or them.
You know what she said, guys? She said that the only Santana she ever heard of is
the guitarist.
Oh my God. I'm like, wow.
And the character from Glee.
And you know, that's exactly where I was going. Anyway, no tagline with all right. Y'all, we were talking about the issues with TikTok, how they have removed all their copyrighted music, and it was affecting my TikToks, y'all.
It was. But by the way, this is BlerdTalk with Bola and Whitney.
Hey, guys. Y'all already know. Anyway, you guys know Triple F Queen Bola.
And no tagline Whit over here, who for once had to be the one to interject. The interjection of the interjection.
I brought it in early, but I was just like baffled. Because I was like, what? You ain't even heard? Let me see you walk. I was like, that song is everywhere.
But anyway, our ruined TikTok ambitions. We were gonna go. That was gonna be a second choice anyway of this song I don't know about. First choice was gonna be RuPaul's Cover Girl.
Yeah, that was the first choice. But even that wasn't on TikTok.
Head to toe, let your whole body talk. Cover Girl.
I only know that because I watch fashion stuff.
Head to toe, let your whole body talk. Walk.
I prefer Walk by Santana, Saucy Santana.
Well, I've never heard of it, but I really like the Cover Girl song.
After this whole thing, just because I'm like, I know you heard of Saucy Santana.
Girl, don't be so sure.
Anyway, today, guys, is the second episode. It is March. We're getting into spring, hopefully soon to warm up.
Yes, I am really waiting for this temperature to rise. Yes, even though it hasn't been as miserably cold for the last 2 days.
Yeah, it's a bit nippy, but it's been beautiful days. I'm loving the sun rays.
It's
you saw what I did just then.
Deceptively pretty outside.
It is not it is actually gorgeous. Like,
I mean,
because
yes,
it doesn't feel warm, but it looks gorgeous. It's actually a gorgeous thing.
That's why I say deceptively pretty, because the temperature is not pretty.
That's not right, though. But that's what I'm saying, but it's still pretty. You can't be like, temperatures can't be pretty. Like,
no, but I look outside and I'm like, oh, this looks like it's a beautiful day aesthetically, but temperature-wise, you're like, you go outside, you're like, well, oh, God.
Y'all, okay, anyway, this is where me and Whitney differ. I'm personally, I do love the cold. I just do. I rather have to put on a jacket. Mm-hmm. And then, like, colder temperatures don't bother me as much. Mm-mm. It could be my New York, birth. I was born in the cold place, Mm-mm. And I used to have to deal with snow. The snow used to be as tall as me when I was younger. Frigid temperatures. And I have no problem.
Nope.
So
I rebuke that.
She a Southern girl at heart. She was like, if it's lower than 60, I'm out. Anyway, guys, but today's episode, we are going to be talking about the new movie, Shazam!
Fury of the Gods.
All right, and so I'm excited about it.
I'm excited, too.
Yeah, because I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, you guys.
So we're going to get into it. But first we got to do our Blerd Out. Whitney, can you help a girl out with singing today?
Blerd out. Blerd out. Blerd out. Blerd out. Sounds better when Bola does it, but anyway.
I like your version. I like doing the bass. Bass, boom, boom. Anyway, I know I pretend like I can beatbox and stuff, but I'm not there with it. Just like practice, like with rapping. What is that?
It's one that my oldest nephew taught me.
Oh, yeah,
and I actually think
it's like a scat, though.
I think it's
like
actually from Turning Red.
Oh,
when they started, I've never met nobody like you.
Oh, the band.
The boy
band in there. Okay.
That was fire. I'm like, why is this so good? That movie, I still love that movie so much.
I know, it's a good
I need to go back and rewatch some of the those really good Disney movies. I need to go back and rewatch Turning Red for like the umpteenth time and
How many times have you seen it?
I've seen it Probably like 3
I
or
only watched it
4
the one
times.
time you showed me.
And also rewatch Encanto.
Oh, Encanto's good. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to watch that again.
It is. It's
We
like
don't
there's
talk about Bruno, no. Not a word about Bruno.
But it was my wedding day. We were getting married and there wasn't a cloud in the... No clouds allowed in the sky.
Let's not get into it because
But
I'm gonna
it's
get into
so
that whole
good.
song. I remember I was practicing a little rap from what was the sister's name? What was the cousin's name again?
You know what?
Damn.
I can't remember the
Look at
cousin's
that.
name.
It's been that long. Mirabelle, Rosaline, Louisa, Felix, Antonio, Carmela. Was it Carmela? Dang. Anyway, my bad.
I also really love Louisa's song. That's also one of my favorites.
I like Louisa's song a lot too. Yeah. But the family magic guy. But Bruno is still the shining star of that.
It's so good.
It's just
What
so
is that?
good.
I saw like a YouTube. I think you might have showed me the YouTube video on it, talking about that style where all of the lines like overlap each other at certain points. Because the aunt says her lines with her husband, and then the cousin who can hear the stuff says hers at some point, and
Yes,
then at
they
one
use
point
the same time signature.
Yeah.
But they change up like how they sing. So it's like it's the same thing, but it's like 3 different ways of singing. So it sounds different. They tried to make it for each character. Carmelo was the shape-shifting boy.
I don't know if it was Carmelo though.
Are you sure it's not Carmelo?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But anyway, the
It's
YouTube
cool.
video was talking about there's like a name for it. Because I know each one did their own line, but then later in the song, they're all
awesome.
singing their specific lines at the same time.
Yeah. It's cool.
It is cool.
Because you have because it's like if you speed up the words, you can fit it into the time signature. So that's what they did with the one that could hear things. I'm so sorry. I'm so mad. I forget her name. And I loved her character because I was happy she got the guy in it. Anyway, but
Anyway.
right, and then you have the Felix and them singing their way, and then you have 7-foot rain rats all on his back when he calls your name. And all fades to black when you see earth screams. Sleeps on your dreams. Or something like that. We don't talk about Bruno. Y'all, my throat's messed up. Normally, I would sing better than that, but I liked how it was different.
I can't wait.
Anyway,
he really needs
let's
to get his
off topic.
feet, guys. Lin Manuel Miranda is so freaking talented.
He's very talented.
Like freaking, it's not even just talented; it's like genius levels.
Yeah, I would agree. Musical genius.
Yes.
Writing genius. I'm in awe of him, and I'm waiting for him to write his next song.
And it's funny how like even some of my other favorites, like Moana is one of my newer favorites. Well, Encanto and Moana, and then finding out that he did the music for Moana, I'm like, oh, that's probably why it was so awesome.
Right.
But it's just, love it.
Anything he does the music for, it's gonna be you're welcome. I can just hear The Rock in my voice, in my head.
I am particularly
singing,
fond of Shiny.
Anyway, let's get into the Blerd Out. That was like a mini Blerd Out. Y'all.
Yeah.
We'll just put Disney. Lin Manuel's Disney as one of the things we're blurting out about. Okay.
Even though it's not limited to just Disney.
Yeah, that's true. But what are you blurting out about today, Whitney?
You know what? You put me in mind of one that I hadn't anticipated blurting out about, but it reminded me. So my mom on Friday, it was Friday, when I was hanging out with her, she had gotten the email, and she informed me of what the 2023 to 2024 Broadway in Richmond season is going to have. And she was like, she had me guess. And oh my God, the lineup is amazing.
Is Lion King coming back?
No, it's going to be Frozen.
Oh, wow.
Tina, Six, Beetlejuice, To Kill a Mockingbird, which I'm not as excited about because I'm like, is that a musical or
Probably
is that just
not.
like? Because I'm like, okay,
Probably not.
okay. I forget what the sixth one was, but it was just this lineup is amazing.
Okay, I haven't seen any of those, so maybe I need to go. I haven't been to a show in like ages, and I love musicals, but mainly because they end up like streaming them or putting them as films. So I will watch them that way. Or I've seen like Beetlejuice, but I've never seen Beetlejuice the musical.
I haven't either, but my friend Todd, I'm going to say he said he saw it and he said it was really good. So I'm excited about it. And plus there's this one song that's on like one of my playlists whenever I get in like a musical mood. it like surfaces on my YouTube music playlist pretty often called I think it's Say My Name, and it's really
Beyonce?
Good. No, from the Beetlejuice cast recording. Okay. But it's a really good song, so it's I'm excited about it. I'm excited.
Right. Whitney's blurting out about Broadway season.
Yes,
Yay.
and the next Broadway for us to go see is going to be Hamilton coming up in April.
You guys are gonna watch it again?
I am, as long as my dad is not trying to, elbow me out on it. But I'm sure he'll just be wanting to see for the second time Ain't Too Proud, which was very good. So I'm like, that's cool. I'll go see Hamilton again.
Okay, it's cool.
There was what? Oh, I'll probably have to be paying for my own ticket for Tina because my dad will probably want to be in on that
normally
one.
You don't ever talk about your dad going to watch stuff with
you
you
know,
guys.
he's not like... He's a sports guy. He's not like big into.
That's why I'm surprised. Like
musicals.
I know you've said this before,
but it depends on the topic. Because like he was excited to see once we picked. What was it? 2 years? It was probably 2019 because it was before the pandemic, of course. Our last one we saw was Ain't Too Proud. And we had a lot of family members who ended up wanting to go see that one. And, even ones who aren't, like, big into theater, but because of what it was.
Hey, Tina's music can rock.
Right. So my dad will probably be interested in seeing it because of what the production is. So, yeah. But he's just like, he's seen Lion King with us when I paid for, years ago. It was probably near a decade ago where I paid for the tickets for my family. And he went to see it, of course, because, I was paying and everything. And I'm sure he liked it, but it's not, how you can like something, but it's not something that you're going to spend money to go
all
see.
The time,
So, that's just the thing. It depends on what the musical is about. He doesn't necessarily dislike them, but it's not like his top choice of something he's going to be going.
Okay, that's cool. So your family and all of you are going to Broadway coming up this year?
Not like necessarily all the family. We haven't decided on what we're going to see yet, but we are planning to go back to New York this year. But that actually makes it interesting for what we go see because a number of the things that we were considering, a couple of things we were considering, my mom was really interested in seeing Tina, and we're like, sweet, it's coming to us. So now we can pick something else since that's going to come to us. Exactly. Okay. And also, I wanted to see Frozen. So I'm excited that it's actually coming to us.
The animation is so good.
It is, but it's like...
And it's not Idina Menzel, so I'm like...
It isn't, but it's going to still be good, because some of their new songs, I've got I've heard it, the
made
soundtrack.
More songs?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, and plus, seeing how they accomplish certain things, theater magic is just what I love.
Okay.
I love seeing how creatively... As long as it wasn't Wizard of Oz was such a disappointment. They were so lazy with the stuff. They just put a screen up
Whitney
and
just shouted
projected.
out through all the most anyway.
Yeah, unlike Lion King, the way they did the stampede where they had the roller and the things on there. That was so cool and creative.
I've never seen Lion King. So,
okay. But stuff like that. It's just I'm always interested to see how they accomplish these things creatively.
You're right, because it's I'm not gonna lie, if the Cursed Child Harry Potter ever came, I would definitely fork over the money and go. Because I really want to see but I don't know, they might be doing a movie of the Cursed Child, so we'll see. But I heard that the magic, the way they did it, I've heard that the show for the Cursed Child was amazing.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Said it was really good.
I mean, if they adapt it, cool, but there is a difference between an adaptation and like they did with Hamilton on Disney Plus, where they shot the actual performance.
I enjoyed that.
Because it's different seeing the stage magic they use to accomplish something versus doing visual effects or special effects to accomplish it, to make it look like it's just
there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's different and it's cool to just see it. So I'm super.
It's the original way to do it. The original way, it was the first movies.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be necessarily the original because,
No, I'm just saying how, that's what people used to have before movies came around.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, what else you learned out about?
Let me see. Oh, so we talked about on our last episode, the upcoming Oscars, which are now in the past. So blurting out about, Michelle Yeoh winning
actually, I
best
wanted to
performance.
do a shout out.
Okay, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. That's what I wanted to talk about too.
This can be a shared blurred out. Why don't we do? Well, we shared this one before I go to my. I'll do my other ones and then we'll come back then. Oh, that was my This was a lot of my. Yeah, this was my.
Okay, that was it.
We'll do.
Okay.
We'll do our share. Okay, you want to go? We want to go into
Is
the
mine?
shared.
Okay, or you want to just do the shared one? Let's do the shared one. Then I'll
Yeah,
go
let's
into
do
mine.
the shared one.
So I wanted to even call it a topic in blackness, but no, let's not get into the specifics. But I was super happy for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Mm-hmm.
We took a chance on the film. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I looked at it and I just was like, what is this about? Because I was like, oh, the multiverse is continuing. But when we watched it, we were like, oh, this has to be an episode.
Yes.
It is that amazing sci-fi weirdness.
It was, yeah, amazing.
There's no way of film. I don't know how they did it. That a film that has hot dog fingers, butt plug fights, and random stuff, and it is like amazing. I just don't know how they did it, but it's the most random film ever I've ever seen in my life. But it was very good, very compelling. The way they told that story, I was like, wow. So I'm just happy because they done swept at the Oscars, y'all.
Yeah,
they
did.
Swept. They got Best Picture. They got Best Supporting Male. They got Best Supporting Female. Although, I'm not going to say nothing about that.
No, I do want to say something about that.
All right, go ahead.
So, Jamie Lee Curtis won Best Supporting, what do you call it?
Actress.
Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role.
Okay.
And I was happy for her because this is like her first Oscar, and I'm not upset that she won. But what's her name? Stephanie Sue. Okay, thank you for the pronunciation. Stephanie Sue was also up for it for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and based on their roles in the movie,
I think she should not have gotten it.
I think that Stephanie Sue should have gotten it.
Right.
And I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I think she deserves to have an Oscar. But based off of based off the movie, I think Stephanie Sue, and just like just that one scene where she's like, "I'm just tired," and I'm like, that is an Oscar-worthy performance. And honestly, I think it really should have been between Stephanie Sue and Angela Bassett for Wakanda Forever. I'm not upset that Jamie Lee Curtis won, but I think honestly it should have been between those two.
That's why I wanted to call it a topic in blackness, because I'm not gonna lie, I was really hoping and pulling for Angela Bassett because, again, I just think she should have had an Oscar by now. But you know how they roll in society and stuff. And I looked at the performance difference, and as much as, like you said, I'm not gonna lie, when I heard it and that it happened, like while it was, I didn't watch the show, but I was watching the stuff on the phone that night. Which is where I get all my news, Instagram, the next night or the night of. And I was like, y'all are joking, right? I was like, what is this? And I was like, how did she not win? And then I did not realize Stephanie Sue was nominated. And when I saw that she was also nominated, I was like, now, come on. There is a discrepancy here because, again, performance, you got to give it to... I'm like, this is a movie about Asians. I'm like, they should just give it to her.
I mean, I don't think they should give it to her just because it's about Asians.
I think the Asians should have just swept the whole thing. It really should have.
I think it should be based off of the performance, but performance-wise and role in the movie-wise...
I agree. I don't think she had that in... She definitely was a supporting role, but it was not a supporting role that was like on the level of Stephanie Sue's performance role. You know, and I just was like, I don't see why she got this. I think she's acted more in like Freaky Friday than this. Like, you know what I mean? She wasn't even on screen that often, and I didn't say she did a bad job, but I was just like, I don't know about that. To me, I was like, Stephanie Sue did her thing, and she was all over that film, doing all this different stuff and scenes and everything. I just was like, I don't know who was making the decisions. And I don't think they made it correctly. Now, people are saying it's not fair because I know I be getting at people too sometimes because I'm like, I feel the same way when they're always like, Beyonce should have won this and that. And then I'm like, some other people, they produce great art too. Let them win something for... Beyonce got 30-something Grammys. Let Harry Styles win some. He just started music. Like, come on.
Now, on the other hand, though, I disagree slightly with that. If yours was the best...
But by whose standards? That's the thing.
That's also the thing.
Somebody could think she did the best. So
it is subjective, but just because someone has a lot of awards, if their art was like that great, they shouldn't not get it just because they have that many awards.
That's true too. But I was saying it because everyone was like getting mad that Beyonce didn't win. album of the year every year that she has a new album. And I was like,
well, I agree with what you said. There are other great artists.
She won like urban album of the year, but then they had like other people win.
Mm-hmm.
For like Adele won one year, and everyone thought Beyonce should have won for Lemonade. And then last year, this year, Harry Styles won instead of her. And I was like, Harry Styles' album is actually very good too. Like, so I know what you mean. It's really hard, Whitney, to be like.
It is hard.
But for me, for this particular one, I'm not saying that she's not deserving, because it is her first time. And I'm like, yeah, she's been acting for a very long time. Mm-hmm. But again, you have to look at the performance. I like, who did the most support to me and did the strongest one was Stephanie Sue.
Yeah,
I think she should have won it instead. If you were going to put both of them in the category, I would definitely pick her over. Like, to me, I feel like she had like, Jamie Lee Curtis had like a tertiary role. If you're going to do like hierarchy, primary was definitely Michelle Yeoh. Then secondary was definitely Stephanie Sue and Ki Hye Kwan.
But it's not for secondary character; it's for supporting.
That's what I'm saying. The supporting people are secondary usually. So
well, it doesn't say secondary; it says supporting. Anybody can be supporting.
I'm gonna put it on it, and I was like third. Like, that's my tertiary, okay? But I don't know. So it was a big thing, and people were pissed off that Angela Bassett didn't win at all. And I was like, yeah.
I was upset that she didn't win because her performance was deserving of it.
I think so too.
But there are a lot of performances like competition can be steep, and even though someone is deserving of winning. If there's a year where there's like really good competition, you can't be upset. I mean, you can be upset that the person didn't get like an award, but you can't be mad at the person who did win it when it was like deserved. Cause like, I don't know when Angela Bassett was up for it, I want to say in What's Love Got to Do with It, excellent performance, deserving of an Oscar. But I don't know what did win. Cause if I knew it did win, it might be hard to, you might be like, okay. Yeah. You can't necessarily say that.
Right. It's very difficult. But congratulations to everybody. Because they also, Michelle Yeoh won. I was so happy. And her and Ki Hye Kwan's, both of their speeches were amazing.
I was so happy for them. I was extremely
pleased for them. And for the Daniels that won.
Yes.
That made they won I think they won like 7 out of the 11 awards that they were nominated for.
That sounds about, well, the movie did.
Yeah, the film. Everything, everywhere, all at
once. But they got, I think, Best Directing and Best...
Picture. They got the major ones.
Yeah.
Everyone's always wondering about Best Picture, Best...
I think they got Writing as well.
Yeah.
They didn't get Editing.
No, they didn't. Best Screenwriting? No, because the Best Screenwriter went to the woman who wrote the screenplay for Women Talking.
You know what? Speaking of... seeing like their little, they did clips of all of the things that were up for Best Picture. Well, no, you didn't because you didn't watch it. Well, they did throughout the Oscars. They did like little trailers for every film that was up for Best Picture throughout the awards ceremony. And seeing the clips for Women Talking, I had never heard of it until watching the Oscars. But I'm like, this looks intriguing. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't have like a great idea of exactly what it's about, but the scenes that I saw, I'm like, this looks like something I might want to see.
I knew it had something to do about the people in that time, like some Amish community, but it was like a series of like a bunch of women had been abused by either their husbands or other males in the community, and they were like not allowed to talk about it. But I felt like in this one they were going to have it where the women now wanted to speak up to do something. So they were all kind of afraid, but they were all conversing together about what should be done about those perpetrators. That's the premise that I remember hearing when I first heard about it. There is more, so forgive me if I didn't get everything, but there is more to it.
Okay.
But I know that was like the main premise.
Gotcha. But it looks interesting. By the way, they got Best Original Screenplay for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Original Screenplay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was also another one for, like an adapted something. I'm not sure who got that.
Maybe it wasn't. I just knew that the woman who wrote that, she also got a writing award. So
maybe it was because it was adapted from something, and they got that.
Maybe it was adapted from something. I don't know what it is. But anyway, the Oscars was like, now the award season is over. But to be fair, like all of the other people, they have been winning awards. Like, honestly, Ki Hye Kwan, Michelle Yeoh, and the cast and crew, they have been winning awards from all the other times, like the Golden Globes and the SAG Awards, the Brits, the Brits are music. The SAG Awards, just a BAFTA is the English version. So they have been winning awards all season.
And I know that Angela Bassett got the Golden Globe, But I also
she deserves an Oscar. She does.
She does deserve an Oscar.
Yeah. Anyway,
I mean, yeah, but that's not to say that there aren't many people who deserve an Oscar.
It's hard to say, but it's just like
it just depends on what your competition was. If it's like a steep competition year, it's like, I really like this person, but it's like, but I can't be.
I don't even know who else won. Like, who else was in that category for supporting? I was like, who's that other girl and what movie is she in?
I can't remember who the other ones were. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once and Wakanda and Angela Bassett for Wakanda Forever were the only ones where I had actually. Oh wait, I think that what is her name? Carrie Condon.
Yeah. For
she was also
in Sharon,
and she was great.
I feel bad for them because they didn't win not one award, but.
And I thought that Barry Keoghan, is it Keoghan? Keoghan, his performance in The Banshees of Inisherin was great, and I thought, well, I mean, he had pretty steep competition.
He was also up against Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah,
so that's difficult right there because Brendan Gleeson definitely deserves a.
He was very strong, but something about Barry's performance just hit me.
Striking,
yes. So I was like, oh, man, that was an Oscar-worthy performance.
And you guys, don't forget, we did review that, so go listen back at that
episode. Go listen back to both of them, because we did Everything Everywhere All at Once and The Banshees of Inisherin.
If y'all haven't watched them, we recommend them both highly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else was nominated that year. There was a movie called Tar everyone was talking about. And The Whale, I have not seen that.
I have not seen it, and I didn't know if I was going to be interested. I was so happy for Brendan.
For him.
Fraser. No, Fraser.
Okay.
Because I was reading an article or watching a thing about how everyone all of his career had pronounced it incorrectly, and he just got used to it. But it actually is Fraser.
Okay.
And not Fraser.
And he has some beautiful looking sons. I saw his sons over there.
I did not see his sons.
I was like, okay, he has some cute sons. But then he was also very gorgeous back in the day.
Yes, he was a heartthrob.
Remember George of the Jungle?
My God.
George of the Jungle, strong as he can be. Watch out for that tree. Watch out for that bang, boom, boom. Tree.
Yes, and in The Mummy, oh my God, he was just.
Yeah, he was a heartthrob.
Heartthrob.
I think George of the Jungle was my favorite thing he did, though.
I think The Mummy's still for me. Okay. Well, I also love him as the voice of Robot Man in Doom Patrol. You should really watch Doom Patrol. It's another weird one, but it's really good.
Okay. Let me blurt out my other things real quick because we got really long on that one, but I was like, hey, we have to talk about it, y'all. We have to talk about it. Okay, so I'll briefly mention mine too. I also wanted to shout out for the award season, Abbott Elementary. I'm so proud of Quinta Brunson.
It's such a good show.
Seeing her back at the BuzzFeed days back in 2012 and 2013, from watching her then and then seeing where she is 10 years later, she really just, and the show is amazing.
We
watched the most recent episode and me and my sister were dying. I always want to rewatch the episodes.
Every single episode is so good.
It's great. And I'm so proud of Abbott.
Yeah, same. I'm so happy for her. Because I was disappointed when she wasn't in, what was it, the second season or the third season of Black Lady Sketch Show?
Yeah. But
which season did she?
It was season. She came up in season 1, so she wasn't in season 2 or 3.
Okay, so she wasn't in season 2.
Her, yeah.
So I was disappointed when she wasn't in there, but oh my gosh, she has a fantastic show. She did such an awesome job.
That girl is also, Quinta Brunson has been slaying this award season. I follow her on Instagram, and I don't know if you guys need to check it, because every outfit that she has been wearing to all these award shows and parties, I'd be like, look at you, just slay all day. The team is doing it. I just love all her looks for the award season, and they've been winning. The cast's been winning. I'm just proud of her and happy for all of them. So that was my last little plug. Anyway, so I'm gonna just keep this to one blur out. I'm blurring out about Shadow and Bone, actually. So season 2 dropped this week, and I started watching the very day because I have been waiting for this forever. Whitney doesn't know, but I'm a super fan of the books.
Whitney actually does know.
Okay. I'm a super fan of the books. I love the show. I do. I love the show from the onset. And the show made me buy the books and read all of them. But the writing kept me into the books. Leah Bardugo is an exceptional writer. And storyteller, and I love what she did. Now, I know that adaptations have to be different. And they might do things, and they can't be exactly like the books because you can just do more in a book. But my issue with season 2 I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched it yet, but my issue with season 2, and it's hard to talk about this because season 2 is actually very, if you're looking like cinematically, season 2 is actually very good. Very, very good. It's a very jam-packed, action-packed season, and you're like, wow, they really like went to level 10 from season 1. However, they changed a crap load of shit. Like, they just took, like, to me, based off of what I watched and read, excuse me, and I was like, oh, good. I did not expect what happened and unfolded in season 2 to happen so quickly. I personally think they jam-packed it a little too much because there's so much story in this. And then I was like, the beginning started off pacing itself well, but towards the middle and end of because there's only 8 episodes. Each one's like an hour long. So it's like a little movie each one, you know? However, I felt like they jam-packed it, and then they just like pick and chose what they wanted from the rest of the book series. The series is, because there's multiple series in this world. And I was just like, oh, and it was throwing me off while I was watching because I was like, this is out of sequence. I was like, this doesn't happen until book 3. I thought this season was going to be just book 2 and then some Crow stuff from book 1 of the Crow series. But it's just like, they just was like not gonna lie, Eric Heisner, he just was like, I'm just going to do what I want. And I watched the ending and I was not pleased because to me, they did take liberties. They did like a what if with it. You know how the what if show? They did like a what if with and like totally changed the outcome of the books. Like in the show, they totally changed it. It's a completely different ending. And I was like, what is this? And to me, I was like, well, this kind of messes up to me the character. Because Leah Bardugo did a perfect job painting the characters and this and that. And I was like, this fundamentally changes the character to me. And I didn't like that. Now, the show is not bad. It's great. But it's actually number 1 everywhere right now. All like multiple countries, it's number 1. It's doing very well for itself. I just hope they rectify some stuff that didn't like go that well because on Instagram, plenty of us were talking. A lot of like, I'm not the only one that feels this way. That I was like, wow, y'all just really like decided to like y'all gonna do whatever y'all want with this series. And I guess I'm surprised that Leah would actually agree for these kind of fundamental changes. You know what I mean?
I feel like if you sign the rights to have like your work adapted, if they want to bring you in as a consultant, fine.
She's an executive producer, actually.
But unless you're the director or the actual screenwriter, like I feel like you probably sign over a certain amount of ability to say you can't do that.
I know. I just was like, did she greenlight some of this stuff? I was like,
well, I feel like she probably wouldn't have the power. This is not
her. This is not Alina. This is not. I was like, this is not happening. This doesn't happen. And I was just like, what is going? And then I'm like, is there going to be a season 3? And then I felt like one character in particular didn't get his justice due. Like, he was hardly in the series. And I was like, how you not going to have him in, and everybody, plus all the new people are all together doing stuff. How you going to have him just not there? I was very, like, not pleased with how they dealt with it.
Maybe it was a scheduling conflict.
No, he was there. Because the behind the scenes, he was part of the whole thing. Okay, I'll just say Matthias' character is like locked away. You guys know at the end of season 1 that he gets sent to Hellgate, and Nina did that to save his life. And then you see him in there, but I did not expect him to be there the whole season, and I did not expect him to not really be like. To me, it's like they didn't give him enough scenes. I'm
but
not
you also
say what
said
happened,
on the other side that they jam-packed too much stuff. So maybe that was one thing that they were like, we need to focus on this in season 3.
It's a whole jumble of stuff that I was just like, yo, I was not happy by the end. I was loving it. And there's certain episodes that are like so good when you're looking, when you're talking about TV show wise and like cinematic wise, you're like, this is good. Episode 6 is my absolute favorite. But I was like, and episode 7 is very good as well. Episode 8, I was like, yo, what are y'all doing? And I think they jam-packed too much in, and it felt very rushed. That I felt like, I hope people who didn't read the books can like follow along well, because I felt like they were being too ambitious. And to me, it looked like I'll finish on this because I don't want to put the point too much. The show is fantastic. It is very good. You may need to watch it more than once to really catch everything, or like watch one and think about it, and then watch the next one and think about it, because a lot happens. But it will continue, like as the show is going, you want to keep watching. It's not like something that's dull or boring or lags. I just think there's too much in there. However, I will say this. Eric Heisner, I'm not pleased with what you did. But I think also that I felt like if he really was so much into the Crows, that he should have just adapted the Crows and then left Alina's story out of it. Because, again, Alina and the Crows, even though they're in the same story, they don't actually meet at all. Like, Alina and the Darkling, all that stuff is them. The Crows are their own story. And they don't interact at all. So I was like, why didn't they just do it like that? Why didn't because that's the book he was interested in, actually, because of the heist nature and everything. And I was like, why didn't he just do the Crows and just do their own spinoff? Like, that's what me and my sister were talking about. They were like, why didn't he just do a spinoff and just do only the Crow story? They have so much story in their books that you could do a whole season. Anyway, so it's just a problem with adaptation. That's my main issue. But I am going to rewatch the show to see if I can reappreciate what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? So I looked at it the first time just to get everything to see what they did, and then I was like, let me step back and be like, okay, think about people that are think about people who don't watch this or who don't read the books. Think about it this way. How is this show? So I'm gonna rewatch it to see if I can be like, okay, I can be down with this, but it's gonna take me some time. I was so amped, and I watched it like in like a day and a half, and then I was like, by the end, I was like, what happened? How did this happen? It's a great cliffhanger. It is a great cliffhanger. It was very like Game of Thrones-ish how they ended the series. But I was just like, Whitney, I was like, what is this? Like, this doesn't happen. Anyway, I'm done with my blurt out.
But I feel like that, just to chime in on that, I think adaptation, it is a separate thing. So you can't, I mean, it is based off of something else, but you really have to look at it as its own thing, because they're going to people are going to create stuff because they like the material, but film and literature are two different things, so you can't do the exact same thing. So I think you really do have to look at it separately. And I feel like almost it might be, well, sometimes it's not possible for something like this where the second season just came out, but you were so into it that you're like, I'm going to go read the books. But I feel like reading the books sometimes can spoil the movies for you, because you're like, well, they didn't have this. And you're like,
I was telling my sister about the book points, and she was like, oh, that happened? She's like, oh, I like that better than what they did. I was like, you see what I'm at? And then she's like, okay, but then they could do a what? And she was the one that gave me the what if idea. She's like, let's just say they tried to do a what if instead. And because I watched What If on Disney Plus, the Marvel What If, I was like, okay, maybe that's the take that we're taking. My main issue was that I felt like there was so much story, so many important things that they kind of blew over them because they're trying to jam-pack everything in. And I was like, you can't blow over this particular thing, or Jenya's thing, or this thing. Like, there was too important stuff to me that I'm like, you can't just give it this little one spot. I just think because they were written so beautifully, you got to give this stuff some more attention. And I thought because they were sacrificing fitting everything in to giving some things the attention they need to slow it down. And I don't think they did that well to me this year. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a fire series. It's really not bad at all. I just think pacing was the main issue. Okay.
But I mean, that's a fair, whether it's the adaptation or something else, pacing is a valid issue.
It speeds up real fast, and then you have to really focus to catch it, because it's like so many stories are going back and forth between many different characters. And so I was like, if they had just set the stage just slowly, I was like, you didn't have to accomplish all this. I mean, the woman did it in 3 books. Like, you didn't have to do this thing right now. Like, y'all could have saved this big thing for the next season. But they just
assuming they've already gotten the green light. You know, Netflix has been kind of cutthroat lately.
You know what? We need to talk about it, because Netflix has been really. You're right. They've never greenlit. Well, I heard that Netflix usually gives at least 4 seasons to something.
That back in the day, I don't think it was necessarily 4. I think sometimes they would do 2 or 3. But and I think this has been on more than one, like Netflix and especially HBO Max have been like. Because HBO Max has just been, like, canceling stuff that already got the green light and stuff like that. And stuff that had full filming. Yeah. Like the Batgirl movie, they're like, it was done.
Yeah, and the Nevers, I was very mad that they had canceled that.
Well, I actually read that they didn't cancel it. They're going to release it to, like, a ad-supported streaming.
Okay. Oh, I remember. But I was just mad because I was like, "Where's my show?" Anyway, but yeah, that's all for me. I hope you do watch it, Whitney. I don't want to tell anyone that not to watch it with my critique, but it's just like someone who read the books, and I appreciated the story that she laid out. I thought they were going on the same page. You know what I mean? Now to see that they were not. It's some things they did were brilliant. Some things I was like, wow, this is a brilliant use of the other materials that she have, combining it together. There was like one section where I was like, wow, this is awesome. But then other things where I was like, you guys just took this part and just ran it and just drew, and like you I did a drive by with it, just like we're gonna drive by this point and this point and this point, and I was like, oh, slow your roll, you know. And then I was like, whoa, you just blew up like the actual book series. You know, anyway, that's it.
All right. Well, I think that's it for our blurred outs, you guys. Let's roll into the movie.
Yes. So let's talk about it, guys.
Shazam!
First things first. What's my name? What's my superhero name?
Shazam!
So you guys, first impressions. I was like, this is such an enjoyable watch. Like,
it is. Oh my god.
This is such a lighthearted, fun, great message. This is my first impressions, and I was like, I was so happy. I was like just happy, all fuzzy inside. Not because it was like very lighthearted or whatever, but I just loved the
that's
film.
what I was kind of like.
I just got enjoyable. I felt
upbeat,
so enjoyable.
But it's not like you said,
not sappy.
It's not super lighthearted, but it's like it's a positive. It's not like, you know how some superhero movies have kind of a darker tone. It's not like one of those.
That's exactly it. And then it was so funny, and then I like the family dynamic of this story, and especially for somebody who really dislikes DC films. I was like, nah, this is how you do a film, DC. Why can't you let this go for all your other stuff? Like,
and I want to say, like, going off of what you said, like, comedy-wise, they struck, like, a perfect balance.
Right.
Because it's great to have, like, comedy, but you still don't want to lose, like, the kind of heart of it with the comedy, which I think was the problem with, like, Thor Love and Thunder. Like, it had so much comedy that they lost the, like, heartfelt parts. You had, like, Jane Foster having, like, you know, cancer storyline and stuff, and it's like, but you put so much comedy that you didn't let something sink.
Be heavy, yeah. This is Thor's last, like, fourth movie. He was trying to be with her. They did not do that. But this film, they just did a good job with.
They struck a great balance.
And that normally doesn't happen in DC films, with the exception of Wonder Woman, will be the only one I say.
And I mean, the first Shazam movie was also good.
Which one?
The first Shazam.
Oh, of course. That's what I'm talking about. I love the first Shazam from the beginning. The second one was even better. Like, this is how you build a film franchise, you know? Like, now the Shazam world, I'm like, I'm here for the Shazam world.
I hope that they continue with, like, Zachary Levi and his family at Shazam, because I know they're like, what's his name from Guardians of the Galaxy, the director?
Oh, I don't know.
James Gunn.
Okay.
James Gunn is now like the head of DC Studios, and they're kind of like discontinuing the DC EU, and now it's just going to be like I think they're just calling it the DCU. So they're going to, like, you know, restart like Wonder Superman. There's been no real news on Wonder Woman, and there's not been really any news on Shazam. We know that Black Adam is not going to have, and like Superman, like Henry Cavill as Superman is not going to be happening, but like it kind of.
But the Flash, we saw the Flash trailer.
We did, but that might be how they're going to do it. They might be using the Flash because, you know, it's going to do the multiverse thing to. You know, restart it.
And then Kevin Costner is actually coming back as the Batman.
That is so good. That's going to be so cool. Bola missed it because she was, like, not in the theater during the trailers, but, like, the Flash trailer was fire.
I did watch the Flash trailer.
Oh, I thought
just wasn't there for the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay. The Guardians of the Galaxy
I watched the Flash trailer.
Yeah.
But my thing was Ben Affleck is also in it, in the Flash movie. And I have to say the Flash movie does look good, but I don't know why I have an issue, and I shouldn't, but I have an issue watching this with Ezra Miller being there, and I'm like,
I mean,
he should not stand. But
you know why you have an issue. Many people have an issue. There's a valid reason to have an issue.
I shouldn't have an issue to watch the film.
Oh, okay.
But again, I also don't support their use of him still after all the crap he was doing and is still doing.
Yeah, but there's more than just him involved in the movie, and it kind of sucks to throw other people's art and stuff down the tube because he was, and like a lot of people have posited that they're gonna have a new Flash, like because of the whole multiverse thing.
Yeah. I also just have a aversion to him as the Flash from the beginning. Not even before I've never had a problem with Ezra Miller before. Mm-hmm. I actually, since the Wallflower movie, I actually enjoyed watching him. I
loved him, and I love that movie, period. But I loved him in that movie.
I enjoyed watching him, even in the Harry Potter. No, not the Harry Potter. The Dumbledore movies, the Fantastic Beasts movies. Fantastic Beasts. Seeing him there, I liked seeing him there. But then, I don't know why, but after watching Justice League, I just saw him, and I was like, you don't fit. Like, the whole movie was crap, but I was looking at him.
Wow.
I was looking at him, and then I was like, you especially don't fit.
One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think the casting was right. Not trying to, that's what I'm saying. Ezra Miller has acting chops. Mm-hmm. But I was just like, the casting is not correct here for the Flash. I was just like, I don't see it, and I wasn't buying it as the film was going along. He didn't seem like he fit the character he was trying to portray. I know I'm a big fan of the Flash, the CW series, and how, to me, the Flash all day is Gustin Grant. I don't care.
Grant Gustin?
I always mix his name up. Grant Gustin. I don't know why I be calling him Gustin Grant. Anyway, I don't know why I'm mixing his name up, but I absolutely adore him as the Flash. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of the Flash, the TV series, and so I just have like high expectations because I have a big soft heart for the Flash. I love the Flash because of the show, but him, I was just like, you're not it, and I don't know why. Everybody else, I didn't have a problem with them. I don't think Ben Affleck is also, but he wasn't as bad to me. But watching the movie, I was like, you really don't fit in here. So I let him go. I even let Ben Affleck go, but Ezra Miller didn't fit into me here. Okay. And that was my main issue with him. But again, with the Flash trailer, they might be able to pull the DCU up. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's a good movie. So Jim, what's his name, Mr. Gunn?
James Gunn. James
Gunn. If he can come out and maybe if he greenlights it, maybe they can get the DCU to be on par with the MCU. I think that's so.
I think that's why they hired him as co-CEO with a guy named Peter Safran.
We're tanking here. We need help.
Yeah.
Something's not going right.
I've loved every single Guardians of the Galaxy. He does such a great job. And again, they have like a great comedic tone, but they also don't let the heart suffer from having too much of the comedic.
My thing, why he don't want Henry Cavill? Everybody loves him as Superman, actually.
I think Henry Cavill's a great Superman, but I would have to say that it's probably accurate what he said. He was like, we didn't fire Henry Cavill. We never hired him. Henry Cavill was before he came in. They're like restarting everything.
Oh, they're just doing everything new. I don't know if I like that.
And he's also going to, the first Superman story is also going to be apparently one where Superman is younger. So Henry Cavill is not the right age for what they're going to do. They're going to do not an origin story, but like a young, like Superman, I guess, when
Superman.
He was,
There's been so many. I'm not going to lie. I wonder if the resources are not better spent just doing another DCU character. Like, I don't know. We have so many Supermans.
It seems like they're actually doing a lot of, at least unknown to me characters for their slate of what they've announced so far. Because I'm like, I don't know who a lot of these people are. So it does look like they're going to be focusing on other characters that a lot of people might not be familiar with, which we've already seen he's done a great job with in Guardians of the Galaxy, because I was not familiar with any of those characters.
Right. The Justice Society. Anyway.
It looks like that's what they're going to be doing, is focusing on some other characters. I mean, they're still going to do a Superman, a younger one, but I'm excited. I really think that Gal Gadot is just such a great Wonder Woman that I really want to see her.
And Gal Gadot was in Shazam. Let's bring it back to Shazam, actually. Gal Gadot was in Shazam, and I loved it. When that music comes... I
know, it's such a great theme.
Oh, I love her theme song. And I was like... I actually saw a TikTok recently that said there's a DC character called Nubia who is actually Gal Gadot's sister. Well, not Gal Gadot. Wonder Woman's sister.
Yeah, you sent it to me. We'll put it in the show notes, you guys.
I was like, they need to do another movie with Nubia now. Like, let's do it with Gal Gadot, though, because she was awesome.
She was awesome.
I love that she was in Shazam. I absolutely loved that she showed up to help.
I know. It was a great little treat for, like, fans. Because it's like,
This movie was full of like funny moments. Like I love that they did more with the Shazam versions of them, and then they intertwined it because they only Shazammed up at the end of at the end of the first Shazam movie, and then their older selves were all there. But this one, I love that they went back and forth.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that so much.
It was cool.
I like seeing Megan Good too.
Such a perfect mix of comedy and like heart.
Yes.
And that's really what's going to carry a movie. You've got to have something for the audience to connect with, which is also, sorry to go back for a second, when we were talking earlier about like everything everywhere all at once. It's super weird. It's got like funny parts, but the thing that makes it as great as it is because the heart of the story is like, the theme is like this really heartfelt, like human thing that people can connect with. Right. And that's what like makes Shazam! Fury of the Gods so great, because it's about a boy who was an orphan who's now he's got a parents, he's got a family. He never had a family before, and it's about him holding too tightly
because he's afraid of being
losing
again.
them. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I teared up a little bit in this film.
I teared up like 3 times.
I was like dabbing because I was like, and then his family fought to get him back, like and it was so interesting having the powers, the sisters, the daughters of Atlas. Okay, let's talk about the villains.
Yes, Lucy Liu was slaying as a real...
I was about to go into Helen Mirren, actually. Let's go back to Lucy Liu. Lucy Liu is a boss bitch, y'all.
Yes.
She was like a little
emphasis
too boss.
on the bitch part.
That's actually better. I was like, she was too bossy, and Whitney was like, she was too bitchy, and I was like, you right about both. We right about both. Like, she was doing a lot.
Doing too much out here.
Doing too much. And I was like, how you going, spoilers, how you going to like stab your own sister? Like, we're supposed to be building this shit together.
This is an interesting foil. When you just said that, I thought about that. Killing your sisters. Billy is trying to hold so hard to his family and not lose anyone, and she has sacrificed her entire family for this, like...
Nice parallel.
It is. It's an interesting foil, like, one who will do anything to save his family. Like, you can have all these powers and whatnot, just so I can keep my family safe. And she's like, I'm going to kill this sister. I'm going to take the powers of this one and be like, bump you.
She only had the 2 sisters, and she was like, I'm going to de-godify you, the youngin', because I feel like you're a traitor, and then I'm going to kill you because you just in my way. And I was like, she did that to her older sister.
And you don't have anybody else left. You have no one else left.
Not to mention, her power is so sucky. Like, I was looking at the other 2, like, so Helen Mirren, her power was, she had the power of the elements. And then she had the chaos power, which I think is terrible. I was like, oh, you just gonna be bad.
In use, it was very useful.
For her. It was like, somebody have it's like chaos magic in the Marvel universe with our girl, Scarlet Witch.
Oh, I don't think she was hers chaos magic?
Yeah, her magic is chaos magic.
Oh, okay.
So the Scarlet Witch, not Wanda.
Agatha.
Agatha can't use chaos magic because it's only
the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. So as you saw in the Doctor Strange 2, chaos was going too much chaotic. You know what I mean? For lack of a better word. So I was just like, oh.
I was so confused though on Anne. What was her full name? Because I just kept calling her Anne.
Anthena or Antina?
You're right, Anthea.
Anthea, yeah.
I'm like, because they said goddess of something, and I was like, Axis?
What was that?
What? That's what I was wondering. It was like, what is Axis?
So to me, it just looks like she can turn something on its axis, as in, I was thinking of geometry. That's what I thought when I was watching it.
You're a very smart woman.
Thank you very much.
Because I was trying to figure out, I was like, this looks like she's rearranging stuff around. I don't understand what they mean by axis.
I was like, everybody's having Doctor Strange powers. Every film now. Well, the DC world, from that other really bad movie we watched, Black Adam, you had that one guy with the helmet.
Oh, yeah.
That could do the same thing, and I was like, this is Doctor Strange. And I was like, I felt that she did the same thing too, but apparently she can turn things in a circle. So you can like go to the other point, and she can manipulate time and space. That's what I thought, but on an axis. So I thought about gears, and I thought about I just thought about geometry, which I was better at than algebra.
That makes sense now, because I was like, when they said the power of axis, I'm like, what the heck is that?
Right, and I was like, at first you would think like an actual axe, and then I was like, at first I was like,
all I could think of was the Allies versus the Axis. I was like, I have no idea what they are talking about with the power of axis.
And then I was thinking actual axes. And then, I hate to bring this up, but Shadow and Bone has new characters, and one of the girls' name is Tamar, and she uses axes for fighting, and I love it. And I was like, is she going to come up with some axes in her hand too? And because I was recently watching that, so I was like, more axes. But then I was like, then I saw her power, and I saw her hands. I was like, oh, like geometry, turn it on axes. Yeah,
see, I did not clue into that at all.
Yeah, so that's like she can manipulate space and time and move you another place.
And what was Hespera? Helen Mirren?
Elements.
So okay,
she can
yeah.
control water. She can control earth. All that stuff. She had all the elements down.
It looked like she could just control whatever.
Yeah, because the chaos one I really didn't like. I was like, oh, she because what she did in the beginning. I love how they opened the show up with the museum and like it's like a slow open, pull you in, and then you just see they went to grab the staff of the wizard, Jaimin Hansu, who's like in everybody's everything everywhere all at once. He be everywhere, like they don't care. He just be in everybody's stuff. I was like, you in the MCU and okay, but Jaimin Hansu had the staff of the power of Shazam. And of course, I didn't even realize that he broke that thing in the first. Until
they showed the picture, they're like, "Well, how did it get to Egypt?" And then they do the flashback to the first movie when he stacks it across his leg and then drops it. And they're like, all siblings are like, "You just left it there." He was like, "Well, how are you guys gonna blame me? We were all there. You saw me drop it. Nobody else said
anything." I was like, you didn't think this was like an actual good power source? This is a unique relic. You can't just like. So somebody else just picked it up, and then how did it end up in England?
But it also kind of highlights like that these are, well, with the exception of the oldest sister, who's like an actual teenager, and has a little bit like more mature thought. But like these are all children, because like. An adult probably would be like, I probably wouldn't want to just leave this powerful.
He probably wouldn't have broke it, actually. He probably would have been like, I'm going to hang on to this. I just thought it was hilarious.
I didn't have a problem with him breaking it, because he's like, I see it as like making sure nobody else can like abuse it and whatnot. So that part I didn't have a problem with, but the like just leave it.
He just dropped it and didn't pick it back up. He didn't go back and get it. He didn't put it in one of those rooms with all the doors.
Right?
Nothing.
Right.
So, okay, so let's talk about some like interesting parts of the film. Some main things I wanted to mention. I love the addition of the little writing pen. Like the writing pen, Steve. Yeah. His name is Steve. I love that. Awesome thing with the most random, like the most generic name. This is Steve.
And one of the most comedic parts of the movie, because they would write
everything.
And then he was like, no, wait, actually, let's say, dear, so, like, sincerely, no, maybe we should say, yours, really. And it's like, and it's writing all of this, and it's like, it's so great that Steve can, like, go through and, like, do our spelling and grammar corrections.
And Steve
and
don't
edit.
Do that.
Yeah.
Steve don't edit nothing. Whatever you say is what he's going to write down. My favorite scene was Helen Mirren reading that letter with everything in there, so you could just see how they were talking. You're just like, this is some BS right here.
That was hilarious.
Y'all, I still can't get over it because I was like dying of laughter. I was like, no, she did not read this whole thing.
And then it was like, blah, blah, blah. You guys want to get a Gatorade?
And then my favorite part at the end of that was like, Lucy Liu's character coming like, what is Gatorade? What is Gatorade? And I was like, oh my God, this whole. So yes, that was one of my favorite things that happened in that film.
It was hilarious.
Another thing was I love that they showed that they were kids. Like Adam, is it Adam Levy?
Yeah. Oh wait, no, Adam Brody.
Adam Brody, yeah. Adam Brody playing the older version of his other Freddie. Mm-hmm. And then our main guy. What's our main guy's name? Zachary Levi. Sorry, I was forgetting his name. I just love how he embodied a kid in his big, manly, older person body. He even, I hate to say this, but he looked a little more aged in this one.
He did. I was like, oh, glow up. I mean, like, he was a cute kid anyway, but I was like...
No, not the kids. I'm talking about Zachary Levi.
Oh,
he looked a bit more, like, he looked aged. He just looked a bit older in the face. And I was like, oh, Zachary, you getting old, boo, you getting old. Because he looked different in the first one. And then he just looks much older now. But I think it's because of the span of time changed. But I like that even though he was like that, he still embodied a kid spirit within his acting. He's all muscular and buff like this and strong and just like, but he was like, I'm a kid though. Like inside, I'm a kid. It was just great to me to see all of them. Like Megan Good act like this cute little girl. I would love how this scene where they were saving people. She was like, "These kittens though. I mean, these kittens matter more to me than you 3 white chicks that might die. But I'm gonna come back for you though. But these kittens though."
Oh my god!
I love her saving the world. Her character Darla. The little girl, and by the way, she was the little girl. She was the second daughter on This Is Us.
Oh,
I love
okay.
her. She was one of Sterling K. Brown's children.
Okay.
In the I love seeing her still acting and doing stuff. But I really enjoyed her solving the problem with unicorns that were like extra buff with Skittles. I like how they placed things in the story, and it just came back
Those
up.
unicorns were off the chain when they came through. It like
Scary.
speared that. Oh, I was like, oh snap!
And I was like, y'all sure y'all should be listening to... When they were rolling up, I was like, are y'all sure y'all should be listening to Darla? Are you sure? I mean, I love a little girl, but she's still a little girl. You know? It was great. Even the other kid, he was like... Everyone was like, this is not the time for family secrets. And everyone was like saying something, and then he was like, I'm gay. And I was like... Pedro. And it was like, everybody knew. And it was like, you know. He was like, you guys knew? Okay. And he wanted to watch baseball so badly. But I like that he discovered that little spot. I feel like all the kids shined and did their thing. Yeah. Yeah, it was a really good family ensemble piece.
It really was.
I love how the father didn't know why lightning kept striking their house. It was because they kept Shazamming out in the house before they left.
And I love how at the end they have like the cross stitch. It said, no Shazamming in the house.
In the new house. At first, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, didn't they know that the kids got the powers? Or they didn't know at all?
Yeah, they never did tell them.
Okay, that's what happened. Because I was like, I thought the parents knew. They never told them.
They never told them.
Okay, so they didn't tell them.
I mean, we saw in the movie. They told them just now in the movie.
Oh, but I thought
even
they
though
knew
the
first
father,
one.
you saw the father watching Freddie on the TV, and he's looking. He's like, wait a minute. Where are the kids? Right? He was like cluing in, and then they just appeared.
Right? Yeah,
and it was like,
appeared.
Oh, okay. He was like, okay, never mind. Maybe that was a crazy thought.
I know. I just think it's hilarious. I love the whole. I loved Billy and Rosa, who plays his foster mom, just coming together.
That storyline was so nice, and it was so satisfying. It's one of the things that made the movie so great, having these heartfelt little pieces, like these character arcs, like him holding so tightly to his family, too tightly to his family because he's never had one and doesn't want to lose him. And then like Rosa is foster mom, and he always just calls her Rosa until the end of the movie.
Yeah,
and he's like, Mom.
My heart, the feels, they're coming on too strong. I was just Freddie like made me like literally tear up. The way he was banging on that globe when Billy was like going to sacrifice himself to get, I think her name was Calypso.
One of them was, Calypso was Lucy Liu's.
Calypso was Lucy Liu's character. When he was like, I have to take her out with this big-ass dragon. I like that he called her Khaleesi. Like
that was funny.
I love when cultural nods, like, I like when pop culture things, like, nod to each other. I love that. But he was like, the way he was banging on there, I was like, come out, Billy. Don't let him cry. His face was just like, I broke my heart. I was like, not Freddie. Not because he's like the least one to cry, you know, and his little crazy self. He was out there doing some stuff by himself.
It was a great storyline also because of Billy's sacrifice, because he's like, he knows that he was probably going to have to die in order to
save everybody,
to save everyone, and he was willing to do it because he was a true hero. He's like, I'm going to protect my family, and he's like, his brother Freddie's like, no, all or nothing. He's right. That's right. I can save all of my family, and none of them get hurt. And I was like, oh my God.
And there's all these nasty monsters, and the mythology was all over this show. I mean, but I think I like the internal struggle of Billy the most, and how he was having a slight imposter syndrome, even though he was already giving these powers, and then even
I don't think it was even really slight. I think it was kind of
full on. You think
it was medium to very.
They talked about it in the beginning, yeah.
It
was full on imposter syndrome because he was literally, when it was getting too hyped, the smoke was too much. He was like, you know what? You need to give these powers to somebody else. He was like, Wizard, take these back because I'm just a kid. I'm stupid. I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm not worthy. You didn't pick the right person.
And then the Merlin, I kept calling him Merlin. That's not his name. The Wizard was just like, oh God, I gave my powers to I gave this power to this kid. He was even thinking to himself, like, maybe I did the wrong thing.
I mean, he didn't even think it. He told him. He was like, I gave it to the wrong person. You are not worthy.
And then then again, he turned around and he's like, you know what? Let me remind myself of why I gave you those powers. And I'm going to tell you so that you can remember that you had the best heart for what you did. He, like, you saw what you did at the end of that movie. You took the power, but you shared it with your brothers and sisters.
Without hesitating.
Yeah. Nobody would share the kind of power, you know, but you shared it with them, and then y'all together took down the baddie from the first episode. First movie. So he was like, remember, I love that. That boosted him up. And it made him remember why he was powerful, why he was important, and that he was okay the way he was. I really like that. And I really like that he understood what it meant to let go of his family, let them do what they wanted, but also still keep them close. I really enjoyed that.
And I also love the storyline where his oldest sister,
Mary.
Oh, is it Mary? Mary was like, this is like a real issue because she's like the most mature, so she understands more about these kind of like adult things that the children aren't like paying as much attention to. She's like, they're not getting any money from me anymore because I've aged out. I'm 18 now. Like, they're not getting any state help. And he's like, she's like, you're about to be 18. He's just like, you don't want me to go to college, but I want to be able to go out, get a job, and help this family. Like, they're struggling. And then he had this thought that they were going to, like, put him out. Yeah.
So sad. But that's the problem with children who have been, like, abandoned. They have such abandonment issues. And so a lot of times they like do a preemptive thing beforehand. They're like, well, they either do something to keep something together, like he was doing too tightly, or they like run away before you could have a chance to abandon them. It's like one of the two. So he took like the first one and was like, well, I'm going to hold everybody together. Because it looked like everybody wanted to just do themselves. It seemed like the kids got bored of saving the world. And I was like, the kids don't want to save nothing. They want to just chill at home. Even the way the first thing where you saw them...
I think, you know what I think it was more so? I think it was not so much that they were bored of saving the world. I think they were bored of, like, little incidents where he was like, everybody has to be for this one little thing where it's only going to take 2 people, but it's like everybody's coming. They're like, it doesn't take all of us for this one.
Well, that one thing, what I was going to say was that one thing on the bridge, I was like, they needed all hands on deck for that. But I think it was also that because they kept having like family huddles and meetings. He kept calling meetings. I was like, what the heck is he doing? And they're like, family meeting at the lair. One, I love how the kids turned the lair out. Because it was like just kind of like dark and ancient looking. But they're like, oh, we need to turn this out. So they turned it to their own little hangout. That was beautiful little
That was
notes.
really cool.
But I felt like they were like, oh, he calls more another meeting, another this. And then you saw how Freddie was like, well, I'm just going to do some stuff by myself. Now, we don't need all of us for that. And he did, went off by himself. So... I understand where the kids were coming from, the other kids. And Mary was like, I want to do my organic chemistry homework because that's what I want to do. And she's like, I don't want to be here for this. She's like, this is your issue, not me.
Well, I don't think it was like, I don't want to be here. She was like, I'm here for the family, but y'all also need to let me be able to do things like go to college and stuff. Like,
I felt bad that they didn't let her go to school. I was like, go to school. Like, you can Shazam from the dorm room. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the rise and fall. I enjoyed the villains, the 3 sisters. I like how they're all like different age groups and stuff. And because I was like, seeing Helen Mirren fighting, like she was a beast. Like like just dropping folks and like her fight with Shazam. I was like, damn, Helen, okay. I mean, I'm sure there was some stunt people behind that. But she looked good doing it, okay?
Yeah, she did.
And I applaud people for that age group still being physical as much as they can. I mean, like, again, I'm sure there was some stuff. But,
speaking of that, I think that's another thing that made it a good movie. They had, like, a good villain. Yeah. Like, good, like, kind of slightly complicated villains. Like, I mean, Lucy Liu was kind of...
No, yeah, Lucy was.
But you also understood, like... Because, like, when Helen Mirren explained it to Shazam, she was like, so if someone came and stole your gold, and they dropped it along the way, and your neighbor saw it, and he picked it up, and he kept it, it was like, would you not take it personally? And it's like, oh, put it like that, she right. Oh.
So she was like, I'm pissed off. We're here to avenge our father and recreate our world, and that's what they wanted to do. So she had probable cause, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a valid reason to be upset.
Yeah, and it was a valid reason to come. But Lucy just wanted to like rain fire and fury. She was like pure vengeance,
and she's
which
like,
wasn't right.
Well, we're just going to destroy their world. And she's like, no, the point was to recreate ours, not to like destroy theirs just because we salty.
The only thing I would say that I did not get was I don't know why Anthea was in the school in the first place.
I think
it didn't make sense.
It made sense to me. At first, I thought that maybe she had always been kind of living her life as like a human girl in that age. But I think she was specifically sent by her sisters to that school. Because remember, at the end of Shazam, they had Freddy meet like Superman and the other heroes and stuff. So she knew that Freddy knew the other siblings, so she was trying to get close
specifically because they were sighted there.
So she was like, okay, you already know one of the Shazam like group, so we're gonna find them through you.
But she didn't know Freddy was the Shazammer.
She knew Freddy because of like the end of the movie, like the after credit scene with Superman, because I think Shazam was there too, wasn't he? Or maybe they took a separate picture with just Shazam and Freddy. So because Freddy was seen with Shazam, he's like, yeah, he's a buddy of mine.
Okay.
So that's why, because like nobody else was like claiming to be like, I know they're good friends. Because I was
watching the film, and as much as I knew they did want to create a relationship between her and Freddy, at the same time I was like, why is you 6,000 years old? I was like, what are you doing in this school? I was like, I could just be like my young self and just be doing stuff, you know. And she's like, I'm actually 6,000 years old. And then the mom Rosa was like, what is it with our sons and older women? Right? Because, like, you know,
and when they initially said it, they're like, I am concerned about this now.
Shazam's date with Wonder Woman. And I was like, was she really
God. That was a dream, remember?
Was it a dream?
Yeah, because remember he woke up.
Oh, that's right.
When he was trying to tell him the Daughters of Atlas, and then he woke up.
That's right. Wow.
No, he did not actually have a date with Wonder Woman. Okay. But that was hilarious too, with like the wizard's face being
it was so gross. I was like, it doesn't work. It doesn't abort. But overall, this was such a fantastic film. It's a great watch. Like, I would totally go back and watch it again. It is super hilarious, super funny.
It is.
The comedy writers, they just like got golden for both films. Like, the comedy was always on point. The kid aspect, and I just felt like they stayed true to themselves. And
this was even better than the first because it had even more heart.
Right.
Because like you can have a great comedy film, but like what's really gonna put it over? Well, like of course story, but story having some type of theme that has like some type of human condition that you can connect with, like just really puts it over the top.
Right. Are we ready to review now, or you want to bring up any other points?
There was something that I wanted to mention.
Was it the ending credit scenes?
Huh?
Was it the end credit scenes?
I mean, it was funny with the little slug thing, even though I had no idea like what that was.
Strong. He was the first villain.
No. I'm talking about the little centipede thing.
I don't know what it is either. I'm not a
But I thought it was funny. It's like, you took forever to get here. It's like, I'm a slug. It takes me forever to get anywhere.
He's like, I don't have wings. I don't have legs. It took me 2 years to get here, okay? I slither everywhere. That was funny to me. It was a random ass scene. I had no idea what it's about, but I just thought it was hilarious.
It was.
He was talking to this worm in his cell.
It was. But I loved the Wonder Woman cameo. Because I was like, if I hadn't heard that that Wonder Woman was going to make an appearance in here, I don't know if I would have known that she was coming back. But like, that was awesome. Where it's like, there are no more gods left. And it's like, there is one left.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I would have loved for them to have the Justice League like done properly, but again, they just didn't do the other films right. So I would like to see the Justice League, like an Avengers type thing. It would have been nice, but I don't like how they did Justice League, their film. Like there was no unity of the. I mean, yeah, the Avengers had their moments, but they came back together again and did the damn thing. So I would hopefully could come up with something better for the sake of that DC world, but I don't have much faith in them. So,
well,
anyway.
I mean, I understand why, but at the same time, like,
Too
by
much
the way,
evidence.
you still need to see the Batman. The Batman is really a great movie.
That's even separate though. That's like a whole separate Batman.
It is, but that's great, and they're about to reset everything. So now with new creative heads, There might, maybe with this changing of the guard, there will be more hope for.
There's not going to be another Black Adam. He's seething about this. I know The Rock is seething.
I mean, if they decided to redo it, maybe they would do it better. Because just because it didn't work one time doesn't mean because after, what was it, Batman and Robin? A lot of people were like, oh God, like Batman is done. And then they came out with the Dark Knight trilogy and it's like, oh, it was awesome. So it's like, it depends on who's leading.
Okay, question before we do the review.
The rating?
The rating, yes, sorry. Do you think we're getting oversaturated with superheroes? I think it's overkill.
I'm going to say something that Kevin Feige said, because they asked him the same thing. And he was like, saying that, do you think there's like an oversaturation of comic book movies is like having seen Gone with the Wind and saying, do you think there's an oversaturation of adaptations of books? It's like, it's not just one thing. It's like, it's not even just a genre. Like, it's things being adapted from this material. There's so much material that you could go forever and not run out. It's just, you have to make sure that you do a great job with the material. Now, I do think, I think he's already said that he's recognized that they've put too much out too quickly. And that is probably more so the issue than, I guess that does create oversaturation. But you have to give people time to rest in between. And I think that makes more sense as what the issue has been, is that they've been putting too much stuff out too close together. And then you're almost like cannibalizing your other stuff, because then you're not giving people time to like really appreciate the things and give time to one project before the next one is coming out, because they like sped up their release cycle as compared to 5 years ago with the amount of stuff they would put out. So then it's like, it's too much, too close together. But to say that there's too many comic book movies, no, but too close
like
together.
Superhero everything. There's like multiverse everything now.
There is, but if they're all great products, there's not a problem with that. It's just if you're just gonna put it out just because it's a comic book movie, that's not gonna do well just because it's a comic book movie. You have to have a good reason to do it. Like, I think I can do something great with the story,
right?
And that's what the issue is going to be. And not an issue, but like I said, I think Kevin Feige had a great response to that question.
I'm glad you memorized that whole thing. Because I was like, it sounded like you memorized everything he said. I was like, damn, Whitney, were you in his mouth?
I was paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he said. Nice. He compared, and I thought that was very well said. Yeah, what he said was very well said, because doing the comparison of Gone with the Wind to say that's like saying that after seeing comic movies.
Yeah, and you're like, but there's a bunch of books. Like,
right.
What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Right, okay. All right, so let's go to review. Now, rating. Damn. Sorry, guys. I give this movie 9 glasses.
We have synergy today, because I also give it 9 glasses.
I think it's... The only reason why I didn't get a 10 for me was, I felt like it needed... It's hard to be like a pin down. Yeah, like if
great.
You get an 8 from me, you're a solid film. Where I would highly recommend someone go watch. 10s are reserved for like stuff that is like
it just blew me away for some reason.
But this is such a good watch. Like, that's why I say it's a 9 for a reason. That's a strong 9.
Yes,
because it's like it's almost perfect. Nothing was wrong. Like I said, I wouldn't add anything to it. I don't think the movie needs anything else. It's just really good. It's just not a 10 to me.
Yeah.
This is a good solid 9.
Exactly. Same for me. There's sometimes like when I think I forget what exactly our ratings were for Wakanda Forever, because I think we gave it like 9.
10, but you rated it 9.
I gave it a 9. And I was like, I can't say that it was
Have you watched it again, though?
I have not yet.
See, you need to watch it again. You will see why it deserves a 10.
But it's sometimes that you watch things and you're like, this was really great, but for some reason, I just can't, in my head, put it at a 10. I can't say that there's anything wrong with it, but there's just something...
It's not a 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you watch Black Panther 2 again, and let me know if you change your rating. Because sometimes a rewatch makes you change things.
That's true.
Rewatching it at home, I've been appreciating it more. Like I said, I've been diving into
And there's some
stuff.
things you don't pick up on the first watch through.
Especially if you only watched it in the theater one time. There's so much hype and everyone's a little emotional.
And then you like you can't always hear everything they say. So, you know, I watch everything with captions. So like
That's
having the
true for me.
captions also helps because you're like, oh, that's what they said. And it makes it more impactful. Just like I saw Hamilton for the first time at the Altria Theater. And I was like, yeah, it's good. But when I saw it on Disney Plus, the recorded thing, and I could have the captions and stuff, because, you know, the rapping is so quick that you can't always pick up everything, but knowing what they're saying, you're like, this is genius.
Yeah. I gave Hamilton the film a 10. I was so blown away by it.
Same for me. I would give it a 10.
I was like, what?
But it helps.
Sorry.
But like that contributes to it, to like know what being able to pick up on everything they're saying. When you know all of the things they're saying, you're like, wow, that is genius.
Right. So, all in all, guys, go watch Shazam, Fury of the Gods. It's fantastic.
It's great.
And if you have a sour taste from Black Adam, this
is
will
a
taste
great
better.
palate cleanser. It's not even a palate cleanser. Because like a palate cleanser,
That's a good one, Whitney.
It's not even a palate cleanser. It's just something good.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes.
I loved it.
Same.
I'm loving it. Anyway, all right, guys, that's all for us. A bit of a longer episode today because we did blurt out a lot. Maybe we should reduce it to like one per person. Anyway,
no, there's other stuff that's deserving of us talking about, but might not be deserving of a full episode.
You don't want to have a too long podcast episode.
You've been putting the actual start of the review in there. They be all right.
All right, everybody. So we're going to blurt out. I hope you enjoy the rest of your month. And don't forget to keep tabs with us. Comment, subscribe, follow, everything. Y'all know what to do.
Email us, join the newsletter, you guys.
Yeah. And blurt out and let us know what you want us to watch, maybe. Like, if you have some good suggestions, throw it out there. We'll look at stuff.
Yeah.
Y'all know what's up. All right, enjoy it, and we see you in April.
Blerd out.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Please subscribe to our show on whatever podcast listening app you use and share the show with other Blerds and non-Blerds, family and friends. And if you like this episode, please subscribe to our email newsletter at blerdtalkbw.ck.page and also rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts.
Intro and outro music is Twilight by Caption. You can find them on SoundCloud, username Caption spelled CAPSHUN. Show notes by Bola, Hanson, audio engineering by Whitney Booker.
And don't forget to get social, you guys. You can email us at blerdtalkbw@gmail.com. And our social media handles on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is at BlerdTalkBW. And our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@BlerdTalkBW. And we've got our individual things going on too. You can find the Triple F Queen on Instagram at Triple F Queen B as in boy. And my YouTube channel is youtube.com/@Triple F Queen B.
And you can find me, Whitney, at Luminabi Studios, my company, and the email address is wit@luminabi.com, spelled WHIT, @LUMENABI.com. And you can also find me on Twitter at Luminabi Studios.